Welcome back, everyone, to the Jam with Lamb. I am your host, Anthony Lamb, the guitarist from the death metal band Maul. Today, my guest is Sean Fitz. He's an alternative rock artist that plays bass in the band Otherwise, out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Fitz, thanks for joining me, bud.
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
For anyone that hasn't heard of the band Otherwise, or you for that matter, but I guess if someone's never heard of Otherwise and they were going to Google it, what would you kind of explain it to them?
Well, Otherwise is it's a rock band from Las Vegas, Nevada. They've been playing a lot longer than I've been in the band. It's
Hmm.
Adrian and Ryan Patrick, the brothers.
Hmm.
They are killer songwriters. They've written some massive songs over the years, and they continue to fight the good fight and write awesome music. So
Yeah.
fortunate to have linked up with those guys in the last couple of years and done a handful of tours and played some awesome shows with them.
Yeah, they definitely have some songs on the Q105 around here for
They
sure.
do,
Um,
absolutely. They're in Midwest, like people know about
yeah.
Otherwise.
You guys ever trying to come up to the sanctuary, man? Let me know. I'll hook it up.
Absolutely. I think that we actually had I don't know if they've ever played in North Dakota. I feel like we
Yeah.
had this conversation at one point. We were looking at doing a North Dakota date when we played in Minneapolis at the
Hmm.
beginning of 2023. And they were like, I don't think that they had ever played there. So we do need to make that happen next time we're
Yeah.
up in the Midwest.
We had like Saliva and Drowning Pool here not too long ago. That was like before our last tour, and they probably pulled.
Yeah.
We have like a 550 room.
Hmm.
They probably pulled like I would say around 350, which made the
Yeah.
room feel pretty full. But I was honestly surprised, like especially for Saliva. There's like a lot of Saliva fans around here, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially like on the radio in those
yeah.
different states, like they're definitely playing the hell out of that kind of music, you know?
So were you ever in Sleep Signals with Brother Al?
Yeah, I was in Sleep Signals for a couple years before COVID, kind of near the tail end of the
Sure.
band. And yeah, part of that time was with Alex. We did like the all the big tours with that band together,
Nice.
and that's kind of
Um,
how we built
there
our
there was a guy, one of the guitarists in Saliva, played in
Josh.
Sleep Signals
I know, yeah, he
with
played in with
Al.
me.
I remember because he sent me the light information during that show. He like
Yeah,
on Facebook, so I just like looked at our mutuals real quick, and Al was the number first one. I was like, "You fucking know this guy?"
yeah, he definitely. We all know
he,
Josh Kulak.
he definitely shreds. I can tell you that. He knows
He
how to
does
pluck
shred.
he knows how to pluck them strings. It was just so funny
Yeah.
because like all those dudes are like 40 except for him. Like,
Yeah.
um, anyways, small world. So yeah, you just got done with Shiprocked, or what were you doing on the boat
Yeah,
there?
it just got back from Shiprock. That's why I kind of wanted to book these things right now. I'm
Yeah.
feeling the vacation.
Where did you guys
The end.
go?
We went to St. Thomas and the Bahamas.
Nice,
We were
nice.
they had Hollywood Undead and Parkway
That's
Drive.
crazy, dude.
My boys in Atreyu were on it.
That's
My
dope.
boys in Hawk. I don't know if I'm gonna just shout them out. That was probably my
Yeah,
favorite band on that. Hawk out of Massachusetts. My boy Ricky Armelino and Ice Nine Kills.
a little side
It's his
project
like
thing.
side project
Yeah,
band. Super
sick.
sick guys. Super heavy fucking music. Sick riffs.
Nice. I have like, yeah, Brat kind of did one recently. I think they did that like 70,000 tons of metal or something it's called. I've
Yeah,
never been like on a ship cruise in general, but I've always wanted to do
it's
one of those rock ones because they fucking look super fun, dude. Like it's a
they're a
lot of
blast.
like-minded people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It looks
that's
super
definitely
cool.
like it's a lot of like-minded people, and it's like I don't know, everybody on there is just cool as shit. Like
Yeah.
you're not getting any like it's not weird or anything like that to be hanging out with everybody. Everybody's like super chill and respectful. And I mean, yeah, the musicians can just hang out and not have to worry about anything.
I almost became like a cruise musician, just like from
I've considered it.
playing stuff. Yeah. And just being in like, because there's like cover bands that do cruises, you know what I mean? Like they get
Yeah,
paid pretty damn good money, brother. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And it's definitely a good job for someone that is looking to do that kind of like hired gun work. It is definitely work though. I mean, you're going to be
It is definitely
practicing, you know,
work.
that's
It's
like one
work
thing a lot of
and
people don't
like,
think about. Like it's a
yeah,
lot of rehearsal, a lot of
you're on
stuff
a
going on.
boat. You kind of run out of shit to do after a few days.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody for sure,
Oh,
but
for sure.
it is a blast though. I do like shiprock and the shiprock community.
Hmm.
Been able to meet hundreds of people going to shiprock over the last handful of years.
Nice. So what was your
So
favorite act you saw on Shiprocked?
I mean, I love seeing Atreyu. I've seen Atreyu 30, 40 times,
Yeah.
but
I haven't seen him
Hawk,
once. I'm so very jelly, dude.
Hawk,
One of these
Hawk
days
for
I'll work for him
sure.
probably, but
Hawk is a hot band for
that
sure.
sounds awesome.
If they're coming to a city near you, I would definitely recommend going to see them.
I'm writing that down. Um, cool, cool. So, tell me a little bit about, do you remember like what your first, do you still have your first guitar? Do you remember what your first guitar was?
I do. I have it at my parents' house still. It is
Nice.
a Squire. It's one of the Squire starter pack guitars,
Hmm.
Stratocaster.
Nice.
But I think it was originally like a Sunburst looking thing, like
Hmm.
just one of those like mid 2000 starter pack guitars.
Hmm.
But now it has been painted a few times over the years, like any first guitar
Yep.
should be. So now it's like white, white Strat.
Nice. What are you using now?
Right now, I play Music Man, Ernie Ball guitars.
Nice.
So I have a custom shop JP6 that's in Lambo orange. For my basses, I play with Otherwise. When I play bass, I'll play a I'm playing the Sterling Rays right now.
Oh,
So I
nice.
got the Ray
Yep.
34. Those are four strings, and then I have one in red, like a red, like I don't even know what the fuck they call that color. And then the other one's in like stealth black.
Mm, I'm a big fan of black myself.
I do too.
I
I
tell
am
you what
too.
though, like man, looking at some of the, have you watched like any videos from Nam or anything like that?
I've seen a few things. I
Bruh,
haven't.
there was some
Yeah, there's.
crazy stuff this year over there. I've never been there myself. I am kind of
Yeah,
looking at getting a Sully guitar myself, like just a straight up custom built guitar. Um, I mean, if I'm
Big
gonna
Al
spend
and
that,
I went out there a couple of years ago to Nam. We definitely
yeah.
had a blast.
I remember Sully guitars though had like a baby blue, like diamond dust guitar that I just was like, oh my God, dude. If I had the
Mm,
money, I would have bought that on the spot. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
And just the single neck pickup, I've noticed, or whatever, the single pickup versus like having two or three pickups is definitely becoming more of a norm, I find.
Oh, big fan of that. I wish I could have
Yeah.
got that on my guitar, but they didn't want to just do the one pickup.
I rarely switch pickups. Sometimes I will when I'm not doing metal. Like I use
Yeah,
different guitars for whatever genre I'm doing, but it's like, yeah, the only time I'm really switching pickups is if I'm like playing blues or classic rock and I need
yeah,
to do like a lead lick or something soft that I need more two beat sound. But
right.
um, cool, cool. How about who was the first person you ever saw play guitar? Do you remember?
Um,
Like in front of you?
ooh, so like not even like the first concert, just the first
No, just like
person.
the first person you saw playing guitar and you were like, damn, that's cool.
Damn, that's a hard one. I think that like kind of what got me wanting to play guitar was definitely like when like the Guitar Hero games were coming
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
That was kind of definitely the start of the whole thing,
It's
the
funny because
rock star dream.
that was right around when I started playing guitar as well. And it's funny because
Yeah.
like my buddy was like, "Oh yeah, like if I get really good at Guitar Hero, maybe I can start playing guitar." And I was like, "Or you could just start playing guitar."
Yeah, it was like all
I
about the
was
same
learning both at the
time.
same time, so
Yeah. I don't remember who I guess like my uncle had guitars and I always
hmm
thought that they were kind of cool. He didn't like really play too crazy or anything like that,
sure.
but I just thought that the instrument itself was cool. And I
Hmm.
think I started playing piano when I was like 5 years old.
Sure.
And it didn't really stick. It wasn't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
like the instrument for me. Like, did my parents, this is something, your parents like try to see
yeah.
if you're like a fucking Beethoven or something like
I mean,
that.
learning piano at a young age is definitely the move. It's one of the
Oh,
harder
totally.
instruments to learn as you get older. I had to learn, I had to take like classes when I went to school for music. Like I had to start
Yeah,
learning how to play piano, and like I can barely play piano. Like if you put sheet music in front of me, I can play it slow as shit.
yeah.
But
No,
it's
yeah,
like,
I didn't get that far with it.
um, yeah, my level of piano playing is literally to be able to learn a song. You know what I mean? I can like hammer out a
Yeah.
melody or do like a vocal lesson if I needed to, but it's like, yeah, I'm
Uh-huh.
not about to sit down and accompany a choir anytime soon. Um,
I learned how to play piano by just mapping out those MIDI notes. Like I
yep.
learned how to do that.
uh, cool, cool, cool. So how about what are some of the like guitarists or bassists that inspire you to write music? Like who would you say you kind of model your own style around?
Well, I would say like early on, my like number ones are like Eddie Van Halen.
Sure.
It's definitely one. Jimmy
Hmm.
Page. Um, I was always a fan of John Mayer. John Mayer is a
Yeah.
fantastic guitarist,
Low
and
key
like,
great guitarist. People kind of forget that he fucking
oh,
shreds like straight
it's
up,
not even low key. He's fucking
bro.
like his riffs are hard. Like go
Yeah,
learn Neon or something like that.
that's like
Like
one
it's
thing I've seen a
crazy.
lot of guitar groups though is like people will
Yeah,
talk about blues players and things like that, and then like
yeah.
someone brings up John Mayer and they're like, and I'm like, no, for real, dude.
Oh,
Like
he's
literally
fucking
watch him,
crazy.
dude. Like,
Joe Bonamassa. Joe
oh
Bonamassa is a
yeah,
crazy guitarist. I don't know. Like I always started. Like I grew up in the South Side of Chicago, and
hmm,
oh, you know what? I think I do remember. Okay, so I had a neighbor, and he was in a blues band,
nice,
and he knew like all the blues guys in Chicago, like
yeah,
fucking Buddy Guy and like
yep,
those types of
yep,
musicians. So I knew like we would always see like his band play at like stuff around in the area,
hmm,
and I think that was kind of like the start of like, oh, you could actually like do things
yeah,
like this, you know. And I forget where I was going with that. I guess like, yeah, the blues background and stuff, so I kind of got into like the Joe Bonamassas and
yeah,
Buddy Guy and BB King and like stuff like that.
yeah,
And then later on, I didn't even like really discover like the metal and the hard rock side of it until like I think the first two bands I started listening to that were kind of like got me to like playing in hard rock and like metalcore bands were
hmm,
like Parkway Drive and Avenged Sevenfold.
nice. Parkway Drive was like one of the first like heavier metalcore bands I heard. I remember
Definitely the
I
first like screamy band I ever
yeah,
heard.
and I remember like someone gave me like their tour DVD, and I remember
Yeah.
seeing them just like camping outside the van, and I was like, "That's genius, bro." The just bringing a tent with that was like one thing Maul actually did for a little while where we had a tent,
Nice.
just like a small tent, just in case we did like break down in the middle of fucking nowhere, dude. Like you never know.
Yeah.
Um,
Could just all crash out and have
yeah, have a little
a little
space.
kumbaya.
Now with the bus, it's like, we just
Yeah.
sleep in the
You
bus,
sleep in
stay
there.
at Hotel Loves a lot. So,
Yeah,
um,
hell yeah. Love Hotel Loves.
nice. I definitely had a similar kind of going into metal where it was like I definitely can't. And my dad was a big blues guy, so I definitely learned
Hmm.
about BB King pretty young and like a lot of blues dudes who I don't even remember their names anymore because they don't live
Yeah.
no more. But like, and like a lot of old country, like Ernest Tubbs, Johnny Cash, old
Yeah.
stuff, is kind of what I started with. And then it was my brother that kind of got me into metal back in the LimeWire days. I remember the first
Yeah.
video he downloaded on LimeWire was literally Ruin by Lamb of God. And I remember
Oh,
seeing Randy like screaming in the priest's face, and like 12, 13-year-old Lamb was like, "This is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen."
that is
It
pretty sick.
it was that and Saliva's Always. And that was the first time I heard Saliva as
Damn.
well. They actually changed the lyrics in that song. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, I think I've heard this story
Yeah,
that
they
story
changed the
before. What's the
pistol
deal with
shaking
it?
in my hand to like anger is shaking my hands or some shit. I don't know. They nerfed their own song.
They nerfed their song. They
I
should bring
still
it
I
back.
still say gun, but whatever, brother. Um how about do you have any
Did you have Josh on here already? You should tell him to change it back.
should, dude. Um Do you have any tips for like a beginner that's thinking about starting to play guitar or bass, or just is there anything you would recommend for someone that's thinking about starting to play or just started playing?
I would recommend that you don't give up too soon because you're going to be complaining about your hands hurting and
Yeah.
all that. But if you stick it out a little bit longer, stick it out for a couple of weeks, like you will adjust into it. And then don't take, I mean, it's like anything, you really can't take shortcuts on it.
Yeah.
You gotta put in the time if you want to actually get good at it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the thing too about guitars. Like I've seen a lot of people. I've done like lessons for people and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and
Same.
sometimes it's just not a good fit. You know,
Yeah. That
it's
is
all
one
right to
thing
move
too,
on.
is like, yeah, if guitar's not working for you, maybe you're a drummer. You know what I mean? There are other things
Yeah,
as well. But that is a great piece of advice. I always kind of tell that to younger clients like that I'm teaching, no matter what it is, guitar or vocals, is like, don't bite off more than you can chew because it's going to make you uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like if you're
yeah, and
getting
like set
super
yourself up.
frustrated,
Like, yeah, you don't have
take
to
a
be
break, like
necessarily
hit it the
like
next day. Yeah, sometimes people they get to that frustration point where they're like, "Oh, I suck at this. I can't do this." And it's
right.
literally like your brain can only take in so much information and learn so much new things before it has to rest. And that's literally when you're getting frustrated because you need to probably take a little breaky poo and slow it down, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Slow it
slow it
down and
down.
span up.
And then like, I mean, if you're learning, if I think like part of the reason why when I was young, I started to play piano. I just didn't have the interest in it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think I really started to like excel at guitar when I had somebody teaching me
Hmm.
that was like teaching me shit I wanted to learn.
Exactly.
Like even if it is like a little bit more difficult or it wasn't like the next step in my like evolution of
Hmm.
like becoming a good guitarist, like you can like even just be having the interest wasn't enough to get me to that point, you know.
Yeah. And I
Like sitting
mean,
there trying to learn like Eruption by Van Halen when I should be learning something else.
yeah.
At least like, you know, I was interested in it and I was able to do it at
That's
some
definitely a
point.
big part, is like you can learn
Yeah,
you can force yourself to learn something. But if you learn
right.
it in play where like you're actually enjoying what you do, it's much easier to learn techniques,
Totally.
whatever it is. So that is one thing I definitely recommend to people is like, play what you want to play.
Yeah, and
Um,
if you're learning techniques too, like look up songs that use that technique and
yep.
like
Yep.
learn something that like kind of goes with this. You have
Hmm.
like application for like a technique, you know.
So do you have any other projects besides otherwise?
I do. I write alternative like emo rock music.
Nice.
So
Is that
it's a
just like
little
under your name or?
yeah, it's just under Sean
Sure.
Fitz. If you
Sure.
look it up, it's on Spotify and Apple Music and all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And it's like it's more like some of it's like on electronic side, but I do a lot of like I write on guitar, so
Hmm.
there's a lot of like guitar layered in there. And like some of the new music I'm writing is more like full band, just under my own name.
Sure. Are you kind of
Um,
recording all that, or do you have like people you
yeah,
kind of? Sure.
I record it all and then go into the studio and
What do you use to like do your pre-production and stuff?
I do all my pre-pro in Logic.
Nice. Nice. Gosh, I hate these
Just
augments.
Logic and the Neural DSP.
Yeah.
I love the Neural.
Um, so when you're kind of writing that stuff, do you kind of start with like a riff in mind, or do you kind of like just kind of see where the song takes you? What's your writing process like with that?
It depends. I used to just write when I would start writing music, I would sit there and like really just hammer out riffs
Hmm.
and like melodies and stuff and just do it all on guitar and then go from there. But lately, like I've been playing a lot more acoustic guitar since I've been
Hmm.
traveling around a lot. If I'm going to be like in a hotel room for like 3, 4 days, like I'm
Yeah.
bringing an acoustic guitar and like I'll just write lyrics and I try to like I'm starting at different places now. I'm not just necessarily sitting in Logic and like hitting record and just seeing what comes, you know.
Yeah.
So the writing process has changed a lot, but the songs have definitely evolved a lot as well.
What's your favorite Metallica album?
Mm, Saint Anger. No, I'm just kidding. And Justice for All, probably,
Nice.
or
Nice.
the Black Album. That's kind of the cop
I am a
out.
Black Album supremacy guy myself. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, Ride the Lightning and Black are kind of tied for me for my favorite. I kind of listen to both equally, I feel like. But yeah, the Black Album's definitely what made me start listening to Metallica. I mean, it's funny because like when I
yeah,
started playing guitar, um, yeah, that was like what I learned. Like I had one songbook and it was Metallica and it was
yeah.
the Black Album. So it's like those were some of the first riffs I ever learned. And it's funny because like they say, you know, like whatever the first band you kind of were learning from is like influences your shit. And it definitely has, dude. It's funny. I was showing the boys like Forced Cremation versus Enter Sandman, like just how the organization of the song is. Like
Uh-huh.
it's the same, like the way the lead starts, the drums come in, the rhythm comes in, and then the vote. It's literally Enter Sandman, bro. Like it's all there.
Yeah.
It made me laugh so bad. Um, cool, cool. Eagles or Chiefs?
Eagles. Eagles, baby.
Um, did you ever play football like when you were younger?
No, I
No.
never was much of a sports guy. I played baseball for one season.
Nice.
Fucking just stared at the people watching.
Um,
Was so bad. I was not really a sports guy. I like
yeah,
watching like football and
I'm not a big fan of either Eagles or Chiefs, so it's like whoever wins wins for me. I guess I like the Chiefs because you know the Chiefs
I'm
are.
just tired of watching the Chiefs every year at the Super Bowl. It's like watching the Patriots at this
Yeah.
point.
Um, last
But
time I
I'm a
saw
Bears
you,
fan, so
oh, word, word. Last time I saw you, you showed up in a self-driving car. How was that?
that's sick. Out in Arizona, we got these self-driving cars called Waymos,
Yeah,
and you can just like get in an Uber, but
that
you
was
get in a driverless
blowing
car.
my mind when I saw that shit, dude. How fast do those things go?
I mean, just like any other car.
Really? So it'll like
Yeah.
go up to speed on like the interstate and shit, or is it just kind of like in
It
town?
they don't really go on the interstate,
Yeah.
but they'll go like on busy roads and
There was
stuff like that.
a spot in Florida. I can't remember where we were. Might have been Daytona. There was like a self-driving bus. It was like a bubble. It didn't even look like a bus. It kind of looked like a big circle, but it was a bus. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And yeah, it just kind of went around the like campus there. I thought that was so cool. Um,
I like
the
them though. That's
the
like
future is here, brother.
their future is here. I was like apprehensive a little bit about getting in those at first, but I've
Hmm.
probably taken like over 100 of them now, and it's nice. Like it's a always a Jaguar SUV,
Hmm.
and it's always
J
got its maintenance done.
Jaguar. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
dope.
it's like comfortable.
Hmm. What's the most awkward gig you've ever played?
Most awkward gig.
Like maybe it was a weird venue or just the crowd was being crazy or you know,
Uh,
like
I played this gig with Alex actually. I wish he was on here so I could, because it was like quite a weird one. It was just like there's like maybe like five people at the gig,
yeah.
and we ended up. The gig was just like it just sucked. It was just like one of
Hmm.
those that you play where it's just like not promoted. You showed up and like they barely even knew you were going to be having a show there
Yeah.
tonight. Three bands play that brought nobody to the show and fucked off before your headlining set.
Uh,
And yeah, and then we had this like weird after party where we went over to this house and a bunch of people like put on these onesies, and it was like I don't
oh my
know. I was just
gosh.
like stoned because we were in Colorado Springs.
You said you were from Chicago.
Uh-huh.
Were you like born and raised in Chicago or did you move there later?
Yeah,
Where are you from?
I'm from like it's like South Chicago, Northwest Indiana area,
Sure.
and my all my family still lives out there. And then
Where
I
did you you know, when you were kind of growing up, was there any places you went to see like shows when you were young?
oh yeah, for sure. There used to be this venue in Northwest Indiana called Big Shots, and
Mm,
they had a bunch of smaller shows go through there. I got to see like Hinder and
nice.
like fucking Deaf Heaven.
Nice. Yeah.
Saw them there, and like Carnifex. Like what else did they have? I played there one time with I Prevail on their first tour.
Hell yeah.
That was pretty sick. That band is fucking massive
They're
now.
fucking killing it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's where kind of like my first band was called Within the Trenches, and we were like a band that wore masks and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, we played a bunch of local shows at that place, and it was
Is there
pretty
any
sick.
other bands from like way
Yeah,
back in the day you remember you played with, like locals?
local bands
Like locals you might
like
still like listen to every once in a while in a blue moon, you know what I mean?
oh, there was this band
Just
called
like
Altered Perceptions.
sure.
That band was pretty sick. It was a heavy like death metal kind of band. They were sick. I'll pop them on every now and again.
Sounds
Not a
like a
whole
cool
lot.
name. Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty sick. They did a lot of touring and stuff and were pretty active. There was this band called Open Your Eyes, which I still have like a bunch of homies that are
Yeah.
it's not a band anymore, but I think all those bands are
Yeah.
kind of dust.
So when you're not playing gigs, like what's your day job?
Oh, I the day slash night job,
Yeah.
all the hours jobs. I do all sorts of stuff. I do Amazon in the morning. I
Hmm.
work there and do deliveries. Do that a couple days a week, and then that's like my part time. And then I do serving bartending, and then I do that 5 to 6 days a week,
Nice.
and then
Are
I
you
do songwriting.
um do you do any like hired gun work
Yeah,
like for bands?
yeah. If it's available, I always do. I'll do like guitar or bass for bands
Yeah.
that have budget.
My last time I did hired gun stuff was like a cover band and they were at Dakota Magic Casino and
Mm,
homie like I practiced with them one time, you know, and it was funny because they played like a lot of 80s rock and then Cody Jinks country. That was it.
mm,
Not like other country, just Cody Jinks. And which I'm a big Cody Jinks fan, so I was like, hell yeah. But
perfect.
it was funny though, because like in the middle of the set, homie just like was like, oh, we got a special guest with us today. Anthony Lamb's on bass. He's gonna sing a song for us. And I was like, you know, not fucking mentally prepared or like vocally warmed up. So I literally swapped guitar. I was playing bass for that one. So I like took his guitar and I gave him the bass and I looked back at the boys. I was like, all right, Folsom Prison Blues, you know how it goes, you know, and I just fucking started playing it and we did it. Um, it's a pretty funny time. I've never actually had a band fucking do that to me though. You know what I mean? Just like,
Put
I
you on
mean,
the spot.
I've had bands like be like, "Oh, give it up for Anthony Lamb," like people fucking know who I am, but like, but like,
Give it up for Anthony Lamb. Here's a
yeah,
song.
yeah,
Take it away.
yeah. He straight up put me on the spot. I was like, "Damn, all right." um, nice. What would you say is like the biggest crowd you've ever played for, and where was it? Do you remember?
I don't know. There's been a couple big ones, probably about 10K.
Sure.
There's been
Do
a
you,
handful big ones. There's been like played in Madison one time and it was pretty big. Played a show for with Jimmy Eat World last year.
wow.
That's pretty big.
Technically, my biggest gig was opening for Rascal Flats.
That's pretty big.
Kind of fucking funny. Um, that
Not
was
with
like
Maul.
no, yeah. That's actually my aunt's like favorite band. I don't really give a shit about Rascal Flatts. I definitely play them a lot for weddings. You know what I mean? I think they're a good country band. I just
Uh-huh.
Rascal Flatts is one of those bands. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like you know, a lot of big bands do it. It's like Rascal Flatts a lot though. They definitely
Yeah.
buy songs. You know what I mean? And then just
Yeah.
record them. Um, which, like I said, that's pretty a lot more
Pretty
common than
standard.
people think, you know what I mean? And it's whatever.
Totally.
Especially when you're that fucking age, you've already written like a bajillion songs, bro. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I do too. Write songs for people.
Yeah, dude, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
But that was like that was when I was playing with Aaron Simmons and the Roadkills. He's like a name, you know what I mean? And I was in his backing band and I remember we like our last song we did Take Me, you know, Country Roads by John Denver or whatever, and fucking the
Yeah.
crowd was like singing it. There was so many people, like I literally was like as far as I could see. And
Yeah.
um the people started like singing it back to us, and we just like stopped playing. It was like one of the coolest moments I've ever had on stage.
Yeah.
Actually, I've never had like that many voices like projecting at me in the same time. It was kind
That
of very, I
that's
don't know.
something that's been super sick, like
Yeah,
especially playing with the otherwise dudes. Like I've always been in bands where we're like nobody knows who this band is. Like we're
yeah,
basically
yeah,
like winning over the crowd with our performance.
yeah,
And playing with them, like we do play those shows where it's like people know the fucking music,
yeah,
and then you just show up and you start playing like they play like Soldiers, their like
yeah.
big song.
People
And
fucking know every word. Like it's, you
yeah,
know.
it's definitely a different kind of vibe. It's a
Hmm.
different kind of experience.
What are you using for like a rig right now?
I use the Neural DSP Quad Cortex,
Sure.
which is super sick. So like I usually like when I go play like if I usually fly when I go to
Yep.
play a gig, and I've had to, especially like in my old bands, I was always the guy bringing way too much shit on tour, like unnecessary
That's
guitars that
me,
I
dude.
wouldn't.
Every tour.
Yeah, every tour I would just like empty my like apartment out into whatever vehicle.
Yep.
I like pull up. I'm gonna empty all my shit. Like, come pick me up.
Yeah. Uh,
And now it's just like I throw the quad. I don't even bring a pedal board. I was bringing a pedal board at one point. I just
yep.
put the quad in my backpack. I
Nice.
love just pulling up with like one bass
Yep.
or one guitar. Like I usually fly with like my acoustic and a bass,
Hmm.
and then I'll do like little gigs around like whatever I'm going to do.
You ever
And
had
then
trouble with like getting your guitar to a location flying or
no, they're super accommodating. Whenever I go to the airport,
nice? I
it's like
had
first class treatment, and I'm like, yeah, I
nice.
didn't do anything for
I
this.
I had one time, and this isn't when I was playing music. I used to fly for work back when I was in
Yeah.
the organic industry, back when I was a businessman. And yeah, I used to go to food shows, and there was one time I went to Baltimore. My first time in Baltimore, dude, I was not great. I got assaulted literally within like 15 minutes. Had to like fight for my life.
Damn.
Luckily, didn't get robbed. But like yeah, my luggage got taken to like a different city. It was in like St. Louis or some shit. So I didn't
Ooh.
have my luggage, and I didn't like, you know, I was kind of still green in the whole. I had flown a few times before that, but like I didn't have like a set of clothes in my carry-on. You know, like I didn't do
Oh
like the
yeah,
things you're
yeah,
supposed to fucking do. So I went to Baltimore with the clothes I was wearing, just buying shit, and I didn't really have like a lot of extra money because like my money
yeah.
was
Totally.
for the trip, you know, and also
Right.
just like in case I needed to get another fucking plane ride or something, you know what I mean? And that was one of those, like, unless I died, you know, my boss wasn't checking in on me. Like, unless I missed my flight home, like, nobody's checking in on me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was definitely a fucking huge headache when I lost my bags. And then I was only there for 3 days. So by the time I got my bags back, I'm fucking flying home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the other reason too why like I even when I fly with my pedal board, I'll check my pedal board and take the quad out and
Hmm.
put it in my backpack. And then
Yeah.
I carry on the bass or guitar or whatever.
Yep.
And then like I do not get on the plane without the shit that I need for the show because I
100%.
mean I've my gear has been like not made at home before.
Yep.
It's never when I go to the gig, but when I come home, it's like, oh yeah, your gear got left in blah blah
Blah,
blah,
blah, blah.
wherever,
Yeah.
Chicago, and like, oh okay, it's gonna be here tomorrow, and it's like sometimes like I just don't have that time.
Cool. So does like otherwise have any like touring coming up soon
I
or
think
you know
that
what?
we'll probably be announcing some stuff pretty soon. I can't
Sweet.
really speak too much on
Sure.
that, but
Sure.
there are going to be some things popping up here for 2025. So
Awesome. Awesome. We're about to pull the plug here on the podcast. Fitz, thank you so much for joining me here. Is there anything you would like to plug before we pull the plug?
yes, sir. I have a new single called Fake Relationships that's going to be coming out very soon. The date will be posted below here along
Hmm.
with the link to pre-save that. Definitely check that out. And then you could follow me on Instagram at Fake Fitz, or look up Sean Fitz on Spotify, Apple Music, and whatever. But
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
appreciate you having me on, Lamb. It was always good talking with
Yeah,
the
man.
boys.
Can't wait to see you again when we're on tour, hopefully, or when you're around these parts. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.